Hi guys, I'll see FIFA here, onto my first FIFA 21 player review. It's been a while since I uploaded last, but with a new FIFA comes out, a full new set of players are ready to review across the whole year. So let me know who you'd like to see me review in the comment section below. Today I'll be reviewing De Gea, who's had a bit of a downgrade since last year. Anyway, as you see on screen, this is the team I started him in: De Gea in goal, Emerson, Rudiger, Soyuncu and Fredericks in defence, Bernard, Torreira, Mount and Minamino in midfield, with Origi and Watkins in attack. De Gea is 6'4", he's right footed and has a 1-star skill move with a 3-star weak foot. In game stat wise, only using with a basic chemistry style, which gave him a +5 boost across all of his stats, apart from sprint speed, which remains the same. However, if you wanted to, I think glove or cap might be a good chemistry style to use on him. Onto his traits, he has a solid player, goalkeeper long throw, cautious with crosses and saves with feet. So to start off, I'll talk about his diving, which was great for me. De Gea does really well when it comes to getting a hand to shots and plays a lot like he does in real life. He saved me multiple times on a game-to-game basis, and I did notice a real difference between this card and the other low-rated goalkeepers I've been using. He can make both one and two-handed stops against shots at all different heights, including those low to the ground. His height does play a big part in his ability, as he has quite a big reach which allows him to get a hand to well-placed shots that other smaller keepers might struggle to get to. Adding to this, he also has a saves with feet trait, which increases his rate of success of making saves using his feet. I have to admit, I haven't noticed this trait as much so far in FIFA 21 as I have done in previous years, and he did often choose to dive down to stop the ball using his hands or body most of the time, rather than using his feet, but having this trait is nothing but a positive. Similar to his diving, his reflexes are one of the biggest selling points of this card, and De Gea doesn't seem to disappoint on the pitch. Again, just like in real life, he's capable of reacting to shots that seem almost impossible to stop, but he did do this fairly regularly for me in game. Combining this with his diving ability and height does make him difficult to beat, as he just seems to have great coverage of the overall goal when the attacker is in or around the box. De Gea can be the difference in your team between a win and a loss, especially with some of the close range saves he can pull off. Having a keeper of this sort of quality is an important piece in building your weekend league squad. His handling actually sort of surprised me considering it's rated at 81 in his base card. Maybe it's something that EA have improved this year, but he did manage to hold on to a couple of powerful shots that usually keepers with low 80s handling struggle to catch, as they often don't get the chance to have their catch animation. He did often opt to punch the ball against crosses most of the time, which is where I think you'll see the biggest difference between low 80s and high 80s handling, but a lot of the time the shots he did push away, you wouldn't expect his keeper to catch anyway. He also did really well not to push the ball back into play after making the save, which stops any possibilities of a rebound goal. Speed-wise, De Gea seemed okay. To be honest, I didn't notice him come out of goal all that much on his own. The only time he did was when I manually told him to come out. Because of this, he didn't get to showcase his speed, which considering it's the beginning of FIFA, 57 speed makes him one of the faster keepers in the game. So it's a shame he didn't really get the most out of this start. His distribution on the whole is decent, kicking out of his hands is powerful and accurate enough to pick out your attacker in your opponent's half, which is good. One of the most important factors is that he does have the long throw trait, which allows him to throw the ball out quickly and accurately, so around the halfway line, which is a good asset to have. The only sort of issue I found with his kicking was when he was clearing the ball off the ground in open play. I did try this a couple of times with De Gea, and on occasion it did lack a lot of power and struggled to get the ball past my own defensive back line. Onto the main negatives now, with the first issue being his ability against crosses and corners. This for me was a major flaw with the card. He does have the cautious with crosses trait, which makes him stay in goal almost all the time against crosses into the box and from corners. As FIFA 21 is relatively new, I'm still trying to work out what keepers are capable of saving, but what I did notice was that De Gea really struggled against headers aimed downwards close to the goal. He seemed okay against headers in the mid to high range of the net, but if they were directed downwards, he tried to save it with his feet, and as a result I conceded a few headed goals. The only other thing I noticed was that sometimes his positioning wasn't the best, especially against corners when players move inside the box. He was always shuffling across his line, don't get me wrong, but from what I saw, if attackers took a sharp turn of direction inside the box, De Gea sometimes was a little slow to reposition himself. This was also noticeable in the angles he sometimes took when rushing out of goal. Sometimes he was great, other times he'd be slightly off to the side, especially if the attacker changes direction whilst moving towards the net. For the most part, he seemed decent at saving shots from range, but I did concede one questionable long shot from Jordan Henderson, which in my opinion, a keeper of De Gea's quality shouldn't be allowing in. So overall, I'm going to 86 De Gea and 8.5 out of 10. He's a really solid keeper this year, and at the time I've been recording this video, currently goes for around 26k, which I think is a good price for one of the better goalkeepers in the Premier League. You get what you'd expect from a De Gea card, amazing diving saves, and game-winning reflex stops. His handling was also better than I thought it'd be, and his distribution and positioning on the whole is good enough. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. And to request any future content, then please leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to reply.